All right, welcome. Today we're diving into a really cool concept, a theoretical design that completely rethinks our living spaces. We're going to look at what happens when your room stops being just a room and starts becoming an active part of your well-being. Let's get into it. So, I want you to just think about that for a second. We fill our homes with things, right? For comfort, for fun. But what if the room itself, the actual light, the sound, the air, could actively care for you? It's a huge question, and it's the big idea we're going to unpack today. And here's the potential answer. Meet the Air Healer Node. Now, at first glance, it just looks like a sleek, modern ceiling light. But this concept, which comes from a really fascinating scientific paper, is so much more. It's designed to weave together light, sound, and even power in a way that could totally transform our environment. So, how in the world does it work? Well, the first piece of the puzzle is all about the light. And this isn't your average light bulb. It's built on a scientific field called photobiomodulation. Okay, photobiomodulation. That is a mouthful, right? Let's just call it PBM. Basically, it's about using very specific wavelengths of red and near-infrared light to, you could say, gently talk to our cells. The key thing here, and the paper is very clear on this, is that this is all about ambient wellness, not making any kind of medical claims. So we're talking about specific colors of light, some visible red and some near-infrared that you can't even see. These have been studied for years for their potential to support what our cells do naturally. The whole idea with the node is to use this light to create a relaxing space or to provide super subtle cues, like maybe guiding your breathing to help you calm down. Okay, if you thought the light part was cool, this is where it starts to feel like something straight out of science fiction. The node doesn't just make light, it uses that light to send sound. No, really, and it's based on real, existing technology. Let's see how it pulls it off. So how is that even possible? Well, think of it like an incredibly high-speed Morse code. The light is flickering, but it's doing it so ridiculously fast that your eye just sees a constant, steady glow. But a special little sensor can actually read that flicker, and that pattern is carrying audio information across the room. Pretty wild, huh? So here's the play-by-play. First, the node up on the ceiling encodes an audio signal into those super fast light pulses. That light then travels across the room, silently. Then, a small sensor, kind of like a tiny solar panel, picks up the light. And finally, that sensor translates the light signals back into sound. Imagine a gentle tone for meditation that just appears in the room with no visible speaker. And get this, you're not just stuck with one way to get these audio cues. You've got options. It can play through a regular speaker, sure, or it could be translated into a gentle vibration you can feel in a headrest or a cushion. Or, and this is really neat, it can be delivered silently right through skin contact using bone conduction. You could feel a gentle pulse to pace your breathing without a single sound in the room. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A high-tech device on the ceiling, how does it get its juice? How do you power this thing? Well, the design here is actually really smart and practical, proposing a two-phase approach. So the plan doesn't just jump to the crazy future stuff. It starts grounded in reality with Phase A. That means using a cord or maybe a swappable battery. This way you can actually build and test the important stuff, the light and the sound, without having to, rebuild your entire room. But the end game, the big vision, is Phase C, a totally wireless device powered by the room itself. That's when it gets really seamless. And this wireless stream is powered by a technology called MQS. The simple way to think about it is that it essentially turns the whole room into one giant, safe, low-frequency wireless charging field. This would mean the node on the ceiling gets all the power it needs with absolutely no cords. It would just become a natural part of the room's architecture. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We're talking about shining light and broadcasting energy around a room. So the immediate and most important question is this thing safe? The designers put this question at the absolute core of the concept and built in safety from the ground up. And this is the number one non-negotiable principle of the whole design. The entire system is engineered to meet a regulatory standard called Class 1 iSafe. In simple terms, that means under all normal operating conditions, the light is considered completely safe to be around. It's not an add-on, it's the foundation of the whole thing. And it's not just one safety feature, it's a whole stack of them. First, it uses diffuse, wide light, not a focused laser beam. It has louvers to make sure the light only points down. It has an active light curtain, basically sensors that see if your head gets too close and instantly dim that area. It can even detect reflections off a mirror or a TV and power itself down. And the best part? If any of these sensors fail, the system's default is to just dim to a safe level. It's truly a safety-first design. And check this out. This shows just how conservative they're being. The design has a strict thermal limit. It's engineered to never raise your skin temperature by more than 2 degrees Celsius, even if you were exposed for 10 whole minutes. That shows a real, tangible commitment to making sure this is comfortable and absolutely safe. So, it's a fantastic idea, and it's designed to be incredibly safe. But how do you take something like this from a concept on paper to an actual real-world product? Well, the design lays out a very clear, scientific roadmap to test and prove every single one of its claims. And this is what's really important. This isn't just some cool pie-in-the-sky gadget idea. It's presented as a falsifiable scientific proposal. That means it makes specific claims that you can actually go into a lab and test. Claims that can be proven true or false with real data. That's what separates a serious innovation from just a daydream. In fact, they've laid out these crystal clear pass or fail goals. No wiggle room. The eye safety has to be verified. The audio quality needs to hit a certain benchmark. That thermal limit of 2 degrees, that's a hard gate. They're even aiming to show a measurable biological effect in cell tests, a 20% increase in ATP, which is a key molecule for cellular energy. It's all about objective results. And they aren't talking about some decade-long project either. They've mapped out this aggressive but totally doable 8-week plan to get from zero to a working prototype. You can see it right here, building the core tech in the first 2 weeks, testing the audio link by week 4, and actually running pilot studies by week 6. This is a real, actionable roadmap. So that's the AirHealer Node. It's a fascinating concept that really pushes us to think differently. And whether or not this specific device ever becomes a real product, it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Are we heading towards a future where our homes are no longer just passive shelters, but are actually active partners in our health and wellness? Something to chew on. Thanks for watching.